Allow me to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather today, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and we pay our respects to their elders past, present, and emerging. Good evening, everyone. Kalisperasas. Welcome to tonight's seminar by Dr. George Tassiopoulos on Græcia Gallica, the Greek diaspora in France. But before we proceed with this seminar, allow me to go through some housekeeping items. Next week's seminar is also online, and it will be by Professor Gonda von Steen, who'll be speaking on children of the silent migration, child adoptions from Greece to countries overseas in the 1950s and 1960s. It should be quite a fascinating seminar. With respect to tonight's seminar, I would like to thank Dr. Spiri Katsemos, and I invite you all to become sponsors of a seminar of your choice during the course of the year. There's still a few seminars left without sponsors. Now, let's return to tonight's seminar, Græcia Gallica, the Greek diaspora in France. On the one hand, there's always been a Greek presence in France since antiquity. The cities of Marseille and Nice were settled by Greek colonists. If we move past the Middle Ages, one finds Maniots arriving in Corsica in the 17th century, fleeing Ottoman rule. However, since the inception of the modern Greek state, Greece and many of its citizens have had close ties with France, and this continues up to modern times. Up to World War II, French along with English were the global lingua franca. In fact, most Greek academics in the 20th century are more likely to be well versed in French rather than English, although this is changing. The Greek diaspora in France also has its peculiarities. It didn't mirror the Anglophone countries that received mass migration, nor did it fit the exacerbated patterns of Western Europe. Greek political exiles and artists often saw France as a sanctuary, a safe haven, allowing them to pursue their activities. Konstantinos Karamanlis, Mikis Theodorakis were there during the military junta years. Separate to this, France is also being a staging post, a springboard for Greek intellectuals. For example, in late December 1945, the sea freighter Mataroa evacuated from Greece a number of Greek artists and intellectuals who eventually settled in Paris. Among them were philosophers like Kostas Axelos, Cornelius Kastoriadis, and Kostas Papyrano. And who can forget the film director Kostas Gavras and his film Z, who was based in France. And to give us an overview of Greek-French relations and Greece's diaspora in France, we have with us Dr. George Tassiopoulos. A bit of background on Dr. Tassiopoulos. He was born in Athens, but has family roots tracing back to Messenia and also the Dodecanides Islands, Stipilea more specifically. He completed a master's in political science at the Sorbonne, and this was followed by a PhD in political science at the University of East Paris. Based in the Paris area for almost 2 decades, in 2001 he migrated to France. He has a deep empirical and theoretical knowledge about French and European politics. He likes to employ a multidisciplinary approach in dealing with issues. Has been teaching geopolitics at the European Business School in Paris during the last few years. George, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Yes, thank you very much. Hello from Paris, from France. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to do this presentation. Thank you very much. So we're going to start to explain the goal of this presentation. So the Greek-French relations started 2,000 years ago, even 2,624 years ago. And the history of both France and Greece are deeply interconnected, politically, economically, sociologically. There are many examples for the last 2,600 years of exchange, different kind of historical, economical, political exchanges between France and Greece. So we're trying to explain all that in a short presentation. So perhaps everybody in Australia knows what we call Magna Graecia. Magna Graecia is the south of Italy, in Sicily, where in the antiquity there were many Greek colonies. However, there is a second Magna Graecia situated in South France. South France used to be, even today, a territory of Celtic tradition. Celts, Celtic tradition. There, our ancestors, many thousand years ago, went there, colonized the territory, and founded a big city, Marseille, Massalia, which even today is the second biggest city in France. And we had a quite interesting phenomenon. Celtic people start using the Greek alphabet. And that's why there are many Gallo-Greek epigraphies founded in a quite big territory, the south of France. So as you already know, the Greek civilization is extraordinary. And so it's not a coincidence that Celtic tribes used this alphabet. When Julius Caesar arrived and conquered Gaul, he wrote something quite interesting, that the Druids, the priests of the Celts, communicating using the Greek language or the Greek alphabet. So Greece has very deep roots in the west of Mediterranean, not only South Italy, but in this territory presented in green. Massalia is the big, until today is a very big city, but also there are about 16, 17 French cities and towns founded by Greeks. And because I spent my summer holidays there, I can assure you perhaps they don't speak Greek. But when we say that you come from Athens or from Greece, they are very happy and they fully understand that Greek people came 1,000 years ago. They brought with them their civilization, their culture, their customs, and they helped the local people to build a better life. So this is the south of France, this territory, beautiful territory, where, according to the tradition, Greeks taught Celts how to cultivate different plants, produce olive oil, for example. So this is an interesting map we found here, the south of France. There are many places. We start from Monaco and the French Riviera. It used to be Hercule Monoikos, as we say in French, which means founded by Hercules, Heracles. Nice, Nikia, Antibes, even the famous Saint-Tropez. Perhaps some of you have already spent some holidays there. Saint-Tropez's old name was Athinopolis. So as you can see, it's a territory in south of France where the Greek civilization had a deep impact for thousands of years, and even the Greek alphabet was used by Celtic people in order to communicate between them. It's very important. And historic memory is very important. People there celebrate the Greek origins. They present without any hesitation that they're of Greek origin, and they're very proud of that. And you can find a lot of things there. So, Massalia, Marseille. The founding myth is quite a romantic story. There was a princess, a Celtic princess. She had to choose her husband, and she finally chose a Greek sailor. They fell in love, and the king, the Celtic king, gave as a gift to the couple the territory where today is Marseille, Massalia. So you can see even the local flag of Marseille, the colors, remind of the colors of the Greek flag. So Marseille was founded based on the fusion of two cultures, the Greek one and the Celtic one. That's very interesting. Perhaps some of you like football, soccer, and there's a football club, Marseille. It's the only French club which won the UEFA Champions League. So the colors, sports colors, are white and blue. As you can see, fans are using Greek-style letters, and they're very proud of the Greek origin. Marseille is one of the biggest ports even today in Mediterranean, the biggest French port in the Mediterranean Sea. And Marseille played a key role in the French history. Never forget that the French national anthem is La Marseillaise. So it comes from Marseille during the French Revolution. So Marseille became a big city during the antiquity, and Marseille founded its own colonies all over south of France and even in Spain. And as I said before, since 1984, there is a town twinning between Marseille and Piraeus in Greece. It's quite logical about that. People are very proud when you are a Marseille and you say you are Greek. And this tradition still remains alive. Other place it's Nice, Nicia. It's a place I know very well because, as I said before, I spent my summer holidays quite often there. Nice, Nicia was a Greek city and then became a Roman one. Were an acropolis. Greeks were always looking for a hill or a small mountain to build a fortified city. There is something different about Nice because Nice is also linked with the medieval Greek history. Eudoxia Lascaris, the daughter of the Byzantine Emperor Theodore II, married to the Count of Guillaume Pierre de Vintimille. So if you go to Old Nice, Le Vieux Nice, there is a beautiful palace, Palais Lascaris, beautiful one with a Byzantine eagle. And it's very beautiful to see also that Greece is still there, not only in the antiquity, but also during the Byzantine era. In the south of France, there is a big island called Corsica. It's an island with a very rich history that used to be under Italian rule from Genova, from Romania. And there was a Greek settlement, and more precisely from Maniates. So we had during the Ottoman Empire, we had about 730 Maniots in 1675 left from Mani, and they were allowed to live in Corsica. So there are many beautiful stories I discussed with Corsicans in Paris, especially the elders. They know well this tradition. That the Greeks lived there, especially Maniates. They played an important role in local history. And there is a small village called Cargès. It's a small village in Cargès, if I remember well, it's here. Yes, the west of Corsica, where we can still find many old houses, monuments, a lot of things reminding us of the Greek presence in Corsica. This is a quite unknown story. To speak the truth, this story was explained to me by a Corsican journalist about 10 years ago, and she gave me a lot of information about that. Corsicans are proud when you say I'm from Greece. They're proud when they say that, and they're proud that they have some origin from Mani. This is also another territory where Greek presence is quite important. Today, there are 200,000 Corsicans living in Corsica and about 800,000 living in metropolitan France. That's very interesting. So as you can see, we defined the south of France as a territory where Greek civilization thrived since antiquity. A very strong Greek presence in Massalia and in Saint-Tropez, in Nicia, a territory where Greek presence was quite important even 200 years ago in Corsica. And people there are very open when they're proud of this old history of their origins, their ancestors. We define this territory of a Greek presence for the last 2,600 years. Then in my presentation, I decided to focus on 25 French Greek personalities. As we said before, the French history and the Greek history from antiquity to our days are connected. And by presenting these 25 personalities, I hope you have a better image of that. Of course, we start from Pytheas, or Massaliotis. Pytheas was born in Marseille. He was a geographer, an explorer. According to many specialists, he was the first sailor who arrived in what is today Great Britain. There are some rumors saying that he even went to Scandinavia, even to the North Pole. So this geographer, Pytheas, was an explorer from Massalia, and his journeys all over the Atlantic are legendary, even today. So if you go to Massalia, you are going to find also a second explorer of Greek origin, Ephthymenes of Massaliotis. Unlike Pytheas, Ephthymenes, he went south to Africa. They say that he probably arrived in the Senegal River in West Africa. So you can see, and you have in downtown Marseille, you have beautiful statues of Pytheas and of Ephthymenes paying tribute to these founders of Marseille and these explorers who contributed to the knowledge of different territories. Then we're going to go to the Byzantine era. Hélène Glicazzi Arveler is a French Greek historian. She was the first woman who became a president of Sorbonne. Sorbonne is, I remember well, one of the oldest universities in the world, with Cambridge, with Florence, Sorbonne, and the University of Prague in the world. So she was the first woman who became a president of Sorbonne University. She was a historian with a big passion, a great passion, the Byzantine Empire. And she contributed a lot in explaining the importance of the Byzantine Empire and the Byzantine civilization to medieval Europe. Because, of course, you're going to tell me about Marseille or Massalia or Nice. Ancient history, everybody's familiar with that. But we have a very important French-Greek personality who contributed a lot in explaining the importance of medieval Greece, of the Byzantine Empire, and the impact on Western civilization. So now she's a retired person. She lives in Greece, in Athens. She gives interviews from time to time to Greek media. I strongly recommend to watch her interviews. She has a deep knowledge of medieval Greece and deep knowledge of the Greek history. And then we go to a translator, philosopher, whose name is Adamadios Korais. He studied medicine, but he became well known in Greece as a translator. He translated French philosophers in Greek and Greek philosophers in French. He published all his work in Paris. He contributed a lot to the Greek Revolution of 1821 through education, allowing Greek populations all over the Ottoman Empire to fully understand the importance of their culture, the importance of the civilization, the importance of their roots, and to embrace revolutionary ideas about democracy, about equality. And Adamadios Korais was someone who helped a lot the Greek independence. We could not start fighting for liberty without a very strong ideological background. And Korais worked a lot for that. As I said before, it's very interesting. We see through time and space how the French and the Greek history are interconnected. Cornelius Castoriadis, it was what we mentioned in the introduction. The same thing. When I was doing my master's, I tried to read some books of Castoriadis. He's one of the most important French philosophers. She contributed a lot in analyzing different concepts and in transforming general ideas into something easier to apply in everyday life. So Cornelius Castoriadis was a director of a French university called the EHSS school in Paris. He worked in Paris, but his contribution to the French, to the Greek, to the European civilization of transforming abstract ideas into projects, into something real and easy to apply is something inconceivable. I learned a lot of things from when I tried to read and understand what he explained. So we traveled through time and space from Australia to South France. Then we traveled from the antiquity, from Pytheas to Cornelius Castoriadis. And now I have a surprise for you. They're French deputies or senators of Greek ancestry, of Greek origin. So I chose a dozen. It's very interesting to see how not only second generation, but that's most amazing, first generation Greek immigrants were elected as members of the French parliament. Conservatives, liberals, right, left, that's secondary for me. That's more important to understand if someone was born in Athens, like Jean Koumaros, he was elected and became a member of the French parliament. Madame Chantal Brunel, I met her in Paris as a political scientist. It's quite interesting. I didn't know that she was of Greek ancestry, so it's very interesting. Jean-Christophe Cabadelis, he became the Secretary General of the French Socialist Party, and because it's something that perhaps you already know or you will learn, he invited me to present a paper in the French Parliament many years ago. Marietta Karamali, yes, also. And finally, Luc Arvounas. It's very interesting because Luc Arvounas was born in France. He was a senator, then he became a member of the parliament and a mayor. And one day he called the Greek embassy in Paris and he applied for the Greek nationality. His family comes from Smyrni. And something very interesting because he's not someone who was born neither in Athens, nor Thessaloniki, nor in other place. He's someone who was born in France, who succeeded his life in France, and he tried to find his roots, his ancestors, his origins, and he applied for the Greek nationality, and he was naturalized, of course, Greek. That's an amazing example of Hellenism. Hellenism is being a Greek. It's not a question of a passport or an ID card. It's a question of belonging to a common set of values. And Karvounas is an excellent example of that. We had the senator, Kodopouli, Vlasto. And I would like to say a lot of things about Chrysoula Zaharopoulou. She's from Sparti. So she was born there in Sparti. She's a doctor, MD doctor, gynecologist. And until just a few days ago, she was a member of the French government. French President Macron charged her to deal with international cooperation projects. And she was a Secretary of State of the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs. That's amazing, I think. I don't know if the same thing happens already happened in Australia. So a first generation immigrant becoming a minister or a secretary of state. So it's very interesting what Chrysula Zaharopoulou did. Just a few days ago, the Greek prime minister was in Lorient, because perhaps you already know that France is building frigates for high-tech frigates for the Greek Navy. So she was there with the Greek prime minister and to present the progress of this project. So you see, it's not. That's why, as was said before, the Greek-French relations are very complicated. And when you see also a dozen of French parliament deputies or senators, even ministers of Greek origin, shows clearly this evolution. However, there is another personality that nobody speaks. Adolf Thiers. Of course, he's half Greek, half German, and he was born in Marseille, Massalia, a long time ago. He was a French president, the first president of the third French Republic. He was a journalist, and he saved contemporary France, without exaggeration. What happened? In 1871, there was another French-German war, as usual. The French lost, and we had Prussian troops near Paris, and downtown Paris happened what we call la Commune of Paris, some kind of revolution downtown Paris. And there was no French government. There was nobody was in charge of anything. And he became the first president of the French Third Republic. He became the leader of France in one of the worst moments of the French history. He managed to do three different things. On the one hand, he managed to sign a deal, a treaty with the Germans. They left. Second, he managed to find a solution with La Commune de Paris, which was a revolutionary movement downtown Paris. People were fighting in the street of Paris. And the third thing, what Adolf Thiers managed to do, to establish a democracy in France, a presidential democracy, and until 1871, from 1871 up to today, France is always a democracy, not an empire, not a kingdom, remains a democracy. So he was the founder, just like George Washington, he was the founder of modern French Republic. Someone who was also of Greek ancestry, and his Greek ancestry is fully recognized even in the website of the French presidency. You can easily find that people are proud of that. He saved France in one of the darkest moments of modern history. Then those who are from northern Greece, from Macedonia, recognized Pavlos Melas, a hero, someone who sacrificed his life for liberating Macedonia. He was born in Marseille, rich family. He could have a perfect life in Marseille, in Massalia. And just like many Greek from expatriates, many Greek from diasporas, he preferred to go to Greece to fight for Macedonia. And he gave his life for that. So he was born in Massalia. He was a Greek French, and there is even a monument in Massalia recognizing his contribution to the liberation of Macedonia. So you see, you have many French Greek personalities playing a key role either in France or in Greece or in both countries. Yes, Vourvachis, Dionysius Vourvachis, another hero, a hero of the French Revolution of 1821. He moved to France. He became an officer there. he could have an excellent career in the French army, and he was, let's say, quite crazy. That's how we liberated our country from the Ottomans, to come to Greece to fight for Greece, to give his life for liberating our home country. An excellent example. And then his son, of course, Charles Denis Sauter Bourbaki, became a French general, military commander in Algeria. And he played a key role in French politics, participated in many wars in France. And of course, he was someone of Greek origin. That's amazing, having a father and son, having an excellent military career. Then, of course, when I have to present something about France, I have to say something about wine. France is a country with just like Australia, a very good reputation about wine. So, Metzelopoulos, there is a French wine called Chateau Margaux. I can assure you it's a very good wine. Metzelopoulos, André Metzelopoulos, was a Greek origin businessman, and he did a lot of investments in different, especially in real estate. And one of his investments, he decided to invest in wine in Bordeaux. Bordeaux is a town in West France with an excellent climate and a very long tradition of producing high quality wines. When he bought Chateau Margaux, I can assure you it was a very risky investment. A very risky investment. Had a lot of things to pay, a lot of things to improve, a lot of things to do. When he died, his daughter, Corinne Metzelopoulos, she took a very important decision. She sold all her real estate, or most real estate property, and she invested to Chateau Margaux. She took a decision. I don't think many big French businessmen could do the same thing. And little by little, with hard work, a lot of passion, she managed to build an empire. This is so you see, you have the Greek French will have explorers, philosophers, university teachers, and also businessmen, politicians, military staff, and also businessmen. So this is an excellent example of a Greek French personality, a brilliant one. She managed to build, I think, €1 billion fortune through wine. And she's very respectful. In Bordeaux, there are old families owning different castles for centuries. And despite that, Metzelopoulos family is very respected in Bordeaux, and it's an excellent case study of French Greek business success. Should take a very big risk. Gabriela Papadakis, of course, there are some sportsmen. So she's a 3-time world champions in French Greek. She was born in Clermont-Ferrand, which is a beautiful place in the heart of France, where the old volcanoes. And she has origins from Crete. And she's an ice dancer. And she won world medals and European ones, and finally Olympic medals. So you can see you have Greek, French personalities in different fields from antiquity up to today. It's very interesting to see that. It continues. Yes, she has a lot of medals. She's one of the most well-known French champions, and she won a lot of medals. Of course, when we speak about France, we present something about France, we should focus also on art, on actors. Dennis Polydalidis. He's a French actor. He was born in France. What I like him, he's not just an actor. He's a real artist. He can do a lot of things, writing the script, produce a film, and he's someone who's very respected within the French film movies establishment, because he can do a lot of things. He plays in comedies, he plays in dramas. He can play for only 3 minutes in a movie, by giving his own touch. He's someone with a very excellent personality, very respectful within the French movie establishment, and he won the French prize of Molière. Anna Bouglalis, her family has roots in Castellorizo. So she started her career, she was born in France, she started her career as a top model. And little by little, she started also a career in the cinema and series. Baron Noir is a French series about mafias, different kind of mafias and drug dealers in Marseille. I found her in this series. She's amazing. She's an excellent actress, especially in drama. She has origins, as I said before, from Castellorizo. And she's someone who combines, on the one hand, modeling and acting. And I think she gave an interview to Vima, and she also explained how proud she was of her Greek origins. And perhaps young generation, just like in France, in Greece, knows Adele Tassiopoulos. She's an actress who won the Caesar Prize, a French prize in 2014. She's one of the most important French personalities in the movie industry. Recently, we had the Festival of Cannes in Paris. She plays in different movies. And as I said before, of course, she's of Greek origin. Her name says. What I like about her, that she can play with all the big stars of the French cinema. Everybody wants to work with her. It seems she has such a gentle personality that everybody appreciates her. It's not a coincidence, especially in cinema, you have big egos. But Adele Tassiopoulos can play in a movie with practically everybody in France. That's not so simple. Finally, the last French-Greek personality is Nikos Aliagas. I met him in a restaurant, yes, just like that, in Paris many years ago. I said hello, just like that. He was born in France. He's a French Greek. He started his career as a journalist. Then he became an animator. Nikos Aliagas is someone who is proud of his double origin. He identifies himself as French, as a Greek, and he's proud of that. He speaks many different languages. He's an excellent animator. He managed to seduce the French public in many cases. And he's someone who was present just a few weeks ago in Athens about the Olympic Games. And as I said, he has a lot of humor. And as I said before, he recently wrote a book also explaining his a lot of things about his perception of Greek civilization and culture. And I think he's someone who contributes a lot to better explain contemporary Greece to the French public. Perhaps you have Madame Glicadzi, who's an historian, who explained the empire to the French academic establishment. Aliagas is someone who is able to explain in a very simple way many things about Greece to the French public. And I think he plays a key role in that. That's why he's really appreciated both in France and in Greece. That's very interesting. I had a big discussion about that. Unlike Australia or United States, there are just between 20 and 30,000 Greeks living in France. It's a very small community. In Paris area, between 2 and 3,000 people, small one. Of course, the Greek community of Paris was founded in 1923, and also many personalities, Greek personalities from time to time go there, but it has nothing to do with the size of personality of Greek communities in United States or in Australia. It's a very small place, small community over there. I would like to finish my presentation with just last two key points. Villa Kerylos. If you go to South France near Nice, you will find a beautiful villa built by the French archaeologist Theodore Reinach, and he built a villa relying on the old Greek houses. And this is amazing what he did. He reproduced everything from ancient Greek houses. A lot of things, decorations, furniture, whatever. It's amazing what he did. And so this shows how much French people admire, appreciate the Greek civilization. So he paid a lot of money, he built a beautiful villa, and then he left this beautiful villa to the French state. Now it belongs to the French Academy of Science. And a few years ago, when the Chinese President Xi Jinping came to South France, the President Macron invited him, and they had a dinner in this villa. It's a typically Greek territory. I think they had Greek staff also to explain a lot of things about Homer, about Iliada, about Greek civilization. This is how much people, especially from South France, appreciate, recognize the importance of the Greek civilization, and they teach their children again and again, even today, even 2,600 years later, that Greeks came here and they brought with them science, they brought with them agriculture, they brought with them a lot of concepts that modern French people still use. So if you go in South France, if you go near Nice, please go to Villa Kerylos. It's amazing. It's a reproduction of ancient Greek houses. It's amazing territory. Yes, you can see they reproduced everything. So it's a perfect place to explain how ancient Greeks used to live there. It's amazing. Of course, Paris Olympic Games. Yes, I had a big discussion about traffic jams and security measures here. I can assure you it will not be easy. July in Paris. So the Paris 2024 Olympic Games became an excellent opportunity for France and Greece to confirm the very strong ties between the two countries. I remember the Olympic flame was given to Laure Manodou. She's a famous French swimmer, champion in Greece, and in Marseille. When this flame arrived by boat, it was given the flame. The first person in France who got the flame was her brother, Florent Manodou. It's very important, brother and sister, we give the Olympic flame. Olympic flame traveled a lot in France, all over the French territory, with a lot of respect in small towns, in villages. French personalities, French champions, actors, celebrities, ordinary people also showed the respect of the Greek culture and civilization. Conclusion. I would like to thank you for listening to me. The Greek-French relations are very important. I think after what happens in Europe, the last 2 years will be closer and closer. Greek diasporas or French Greek diasporas, perhaps we don't have big numbers. We don't have 500,000 or 200,000 Greek French people. But just small, tiny number I think it's sufficient to play a key role between France and Greece, and to confirm how important are these links, both for France and Greece, from antiquity up to nowadays. Thank you very much. And of course, I'm looking forward for your questions.
Thank you, George, for that sort of fascinating presentation. And yeah, a lot of personalities there that we're not familiar with, and you probably could have included just many more as well that people might be aware of as well. I might just start the questioning. I'll ask one. I'm sure my Spartan friends will want to know this. Napoleon, did he have Magnatica roots?
Okay. The first thing, there are many people saying that. There is a joke in Corsica. As I said before, Magnates came to Corsica for two reasons. As you know, those from money, the Ottoman Empire could not beat Magnates. So there was a deal between the Ottoman Empire and Genova. Genova was the Italian city that owned Corsica, to send Magnates families in Corsica. It seems, that Magnates are very strong warriors, and for Corsicans it was quite complicated to handle them. So according to this joke, the solution they found, they start to give their daughters or their sons to start marriages. So according to some people, almost one Corsican out of 4 is of Greek origin, or some partially. So it's not a surprise to me if Napoleon was even partially of Greek origin. It's not a surprise. It's very strong probability.
Got a few questions from the audience. Again, there could have been many other people you could have talked about. You didn't say anything about Charyllos Trikoupis. He's got a French connection as well, and was very important in the development of the modern Greek state.
Yes, of course, but it's unfortunately, I have just 1 hour to present this topic. I can assure you, if you give me 3 hours, I can. But as I said before, that's very interesting. I have very big French and Greek personalities. Xenakis is a French music composer and mathematician. This is a personality I would also to present. Xenakis was a genius who converted mathematics into music, and when French Greek. And when he died, Jacques Chirac, the old former French president, made an excellent speech explaining that. Imagine converting Trikoupis, Xenakis. I can assure you, give me 3 hours more. Many things to say. Yes, of course, but of course, I agree with that.
Okay. Just a question from John Sahianidis. You did mention something about Greek-French politicians, but those politicians of Greek heritage, have they been influencing Greek-French relations?
Yes, the point is now in France, of course. Yes, in the past, it's a quite complicated question, especially because now in France we have parliamentary elections. So, but as I said before, even before the Greek Revolution of 1821, the French political establishment, no matter of origin, everybody was in favor of the Greek independence. And of course, there are French Greek personalities who played a key role. But for me, even in recent Greek history, French politicians, French presidents, when Greece was risking to stay or not within the European Union or the Eurozone, French politicians and French presidents played a key role in maintaining Greece within the European Union. But of course, we can give you many examples of politicians who played a key role with that. It's not only just Greek French, but even French politicians who appreciated Greece a lot.
George, can you give us a bit of an overview, if you're aware of it, of the situation of Greek language learning in France?
Yes.
Are there
There is what
opportunities? Are there options? And yeah.
yes, there is a a Greek lyceum in Marseille. The name is Adolphe Thiers. It's
Yeah.
for the French president, and of course it's an elite one. They're excellent. They're Greek schools, of course. In Sorbonne, the university, Paris Fourth University, there is an excellent program or certification for learning Greek, very prestigious. So if you're a foreign diplomat or military or someone who wants to be fluent in Greek, it's the most prestigious one in France. Even in many high schools and secondary education, in some cases, like in Caen, in Normandy, there is a demand from students and parents to learn not only ancient Greek, but also modern Greek. Then you should never underestimate the fact that many French, about 2 million, 3 million French tourists every year go to Greece. They learn some Greek, they go back, they try to learn through private courses even better the Greek language. So there are many possibilities to learn Greek in France.
George, you mentioned that the Greek community in Paris was around 3,000 people. I mean, how's it organized? Is there a central community building? Do they have regular activities, cultural events, and so forth? I mean, what do we see of it?
They have a beautiful building in Paris. We have 16 districts. So the most prestigious one is the 16th district. So Place Victor Hugo, there's a very beautiful building of the Greek community. And they organize from time to time different kind. They invite intellectuals. They invite important personalities to. Here they work a lot through culture, civilization, and that's how they proceed about it. But as I told you, then it's small world, small community. People are quite busy. It's not so easy to organize something. But as I told you, the small world. But I think they play a key role. Just take a look to the Greek-French industrial or economic relations. Yesterday in Eurosatory is the biggest international trade for defense, for whatever has to do with weapons, military systems. Naval Group, which is the biggest French shipbuilding company, has a branch in Athens, and they joined the Greek Association, the Greek group of Greek military equipment producers. They define themselves now as it's Greeks. So that's how the system works.
Okay. There's one more question. You might want to have a look in the chat, George.
Yes.
It's been written in France.
Yes, it's reading.
Thank you for this interesting presentation. Can you sort of read out the question in English and then maybe answer it for our audience? And
yes. So I live in Paris, so I know better what happened in Paris. I know there were many Greeks in Marseille. My email, you can give my email to the person who asked, and I can find some data about Marseille. Because I live in Paris, I know better what happened in Paris in comparison what happened in Marseille, but I can find some data if you want.
Yeah. Okay. We'll get in touch with that person and pass on your email.
Yes, of course. Well, pleasure.
Okay. We're close to the hour. I think we might bring this presentation to the close. George, thank you for a very sort of fascinating presentation. I might just throw in one quick question because someone's just submitted it. Should the far right win the upcoming French elections, are there any expected ramifications for Greeks in France?
Excellent. I was expecting that. Basically, I'm a political scientist, a PhD in comparative politics. I would be glad to ask this question. As I said before, let's take the last French presidents, all of them, from Nicolas Sarkozy to François Hollande and Macron. No matter who is in charge in France, all three of them played a key role in favor of Greece. You know that Nicolas Sarkozy has ancestors in Thessaloniki. Every year, every summer, he goes to Athens. He's go for in the streets of Athens. François Hollande was he wrote that in his book. It's public. What I say, it's a public information. He said to Angela Merkel, the German chancellor, France decided Greece to stay in the European Union and to stay in the Eurozone. Full stop. And Emmanuel Macron, perhaps you already know how often he's in Greece, or the Greek prime minister is in France, and he gave access to modern Greece, highly sophisticated military equipment, perhaps game changer military equipment coming from France to Greece. So no matter who is in charge in France, I don't think that the French-Greek bilateral relations, military alliance, etc., will be affected. The French establishment for the last 30 years is in favor of stronger and stronger Greek-French partnership. So does not bother me. Then France, like every country, has its own problems, and we're going to see what's going to, the result of the parliamentary elections. Never forget something many people forget. The French Republic is a presidential one. The French president can govern without a parliamentary majority. It's the Article 49.3 of the French Constitution. And even in case of a chaos, there is no parliamentary majority, the Article 16 of the French Constitution gives what we say in French, le plein pouvoir, the absolute power to the French president. So that's why there's some kind of confusion quite often, because in many countries, the real decision maker is the prime minister, not the president. But in France, I can assure you, the French president, some kind of Republican monarch, is the real boss. And for the time being, until 2027, it will be Emmanuel Macron. But I strongly believe, in conclusion, I think even his successor will continue working on building stronger and stronger ties for geopolitical reasons. But you have to give me another hour for a presentation about that between France and Greece. This is bound to happen after what happens in Europe within the last, especially East Mediterranean, within the last 10 years.
Okay. Thank you. With that answer, we might bring this seminar to a close. Thank you once again, and hope to see you in Melbourne one day too, Dr. Tassiopoulos. And best of luck with your work and research. And hope to see everyone back online next Thursday as well with Professor Conda Van Steen. Thank you. Good evening, everyone.